citizens speak out. Since the beginning of the year, pro-democracy protests have been carried out in cities across the world as citizens demand reforms from their governments that provide more basic freedoms and respect for human rights, along with things like job opportunities and other living improvements.
Among the many countries where people have often risked their safety and even their lives to bring about such change are Afghanistan, Algeria, Armenia, Bahrain, Bangladesh, Belgium, Bolivia, Brazil, Chile, China, Côte d'Ivoire or Ivory Coast, Croatia, Djibouti, Egypt, Greece, Honduras, India, Iran, Iraq, Jordan, Kuwait, Lebanon, Malaysia, Mauritania, Morocco, North Korea, Oman, Pakistan, Palestine, Panama, Saudi Arabia, Somalia, Tunisia, Turkey, Turkish Cyprus, United Kingdom, United States, and Yemen.
Seeking ways to address the conflict in Libya, European Union leaders meet to discuss options that include the possibility of additional sanctions, imposing a no-fly zone, and formal recognition of the Provisional Transitional National Council as Libya's new government. Having previously been the largest supplier of arms to Libya, Russia announces a ban on all weapon sales, and France becomes the first to officially recognize the Libyan Provisional Transitional National Council as the country's only legitimate representative. Meanwhile, the current Libyan regime affirms a new policy of adopting reforms, which include establishing a real democracy.
In other countries where demonstrations continue, France 24 reports that young Coptic Christians and priests in Egypt are meeting with the army leaders following 13 deaths of Christians during protests, with a goal of ending the protests as they discuss ways to meet the citizens' human rights demands. Meanwhile, Agence France Presse reports that the Egyptian government has begun drafting a new law that bans threatening behavior, while Interior Minister Mansour El Assawi apologized for the past offenses of the state security police. In Saudi Arabia, 3 protesters were injured when security forces fired above their heads during protests on Thursday for the release of 9 people held in prison without trial. With our earnest sympathies for the lives lost, we pray the conflict cease and that heaven may bless the citizens of all nations to live in dignity, freedom, security, and peace.
Right now, humanity are ready, actually, they're ready in their consciousness to be better, to jump into a higher level of evolution, like being vegetarian, being spiritual, and that's regardless of what government. People consciousness have to be rise up, and the energy of the world change, then people will also change, and the concept about war and peace has to be ingrained in people's understanding. We have to teach peace and moral and neighborly love to children when they were very young age already. And leaders will only bring into law what's beneficial, peaceful, if possible, spiritual as well, for all. Anything that help other people, help the citizens, and help the animals and environment, or the government, the leader have to try their best to implement the actions for that. And they have to do it now already. Then, of course, war will be minimized and peace will be more evident.